In October 2015, the community requested a separate survival-based PvP server. With phenomenal support, we were given Deadman mode. Deadman mode was extremely unique as something never seen before in RuneScape. Its popularity took the players by storm, and its loyal community have allowed it to evolve into what it is today. Within this separate server, players experience the thrill of starting fresh with a brand new economy. However, PvP is enabled everywhere, and if you do find a defenseless victim to try your luck, it comes with a price. If you die, you lose your experience, whatever you hold, and 10 items from your bank. If you are skilled enough to defeat the opponent, it can be extremely rewarding. Although RuneScape is known as a grind-intensive MMORPG, Deadman mode experience rates are accelerated multiple times so that players can focus on gearing themselves up and engaging in player killing. Even though the game revolves around PKing, it isn't a necessity, and many also participate for the survival aspect as well as a new beginning. With a fresh start comes competition, and strategy is essential as soon as you leave Tutorial Island, whether you race towards the 10k gold bounty in the Barbarian Stronghold or begin skilling to craft the first magic shortbow. Every decision counts in this thrilling adventure. Although the original server still has a dedicated player base, over the past 2 years, Jagex introduced and continually updated Deadman mode seasonals.
Ropes? Let's go! Woo! That's what we needed, boys! Oh my god!
This now temporary 1-month server gives players that original excitement all over again and occurs every 3 months. With danger around every corner, every major city and town throughout RuneScape has been classed as a safe area. These are protected by the town guards to ward off the player killers, so that if a skilled player does try to enter the safe zone, he'll be met with a swift fate while bystanders look on and laugh.
No way. What? Oh my days, I'm so bad!
Throughout the season, planning for escape routes as well as optimum training spots is crucial. Saying that though, if you are training in a dangerous area, you will be rewarded with a further boost to experience. Players are granted 10 times experience for skilling and 15 times for combat in these dangerous areas. However, this is reduced to only 5 times when skilling and 10 times within the safe zones. So if you're brave enough to venture out, you will not only be rewarded with a boosted experience and better training spots, but also the high level mobs that are key to building your bank. With a new server, as appealing as it may be, not everybody can commit endless hours of playtime. Jagex recognised the unfair advantage some players held over others, and to even the playing field, they introduced a combat experience cap. This cap resets daily at midnight UTC and gives players constant motivation to train and compete whilst not letting anybody get too far ahead. Deciding where to put your experience is vital in building your account, as every skill comes with its pros and cons. Benefits such as high defense aren't as useful unless combined with another stat such as high range, giving you the ability to wield dragonhide armor and with it an increased magic resistance. Equally, as a PKer, having a dragon dagger and high strength might bring high KO potential, but as I've experienced in the past without magic, all opponents can just run away. Combat skills that are affected by this cap include strength and attack together, ranged, magic and defense. All of these combat stats contribute to a daily 500,000 experience limit. Balancing is reflected upon each season, and some skills such as attack and strength are often given different weighting towards the experience cap. Overall, it's important for players to keep this daily limit in mind, as once you've hit the cap, you'll have to wait to rebalance your account the next day if necessary. Whatever your goals with Deadman mode may be, you can create yourself significant advantages over other players by creating the build you desire. Skilling, however, has no experience cap. From the demand of common supplies that are essential to engage in PvP to the armor and ammunition used, Skilling is an essential part of the Deadman mode economy. Common moneymakers in the main game, such as killing green dragons, are even more dangerous on Deadman mode, as they're even further away from a safe area. Unlocking escape routes such as the agility shortcut for blue dragons in Taverley Dungeon are well worth considering. Progression will be safer and 70 agility is obtainable in a matter of a few hours after reaching the daily combat experience cap. Since the server restarts each season, every item must be obtained for the first time. Racing to be the first of rare items such as the Abyssal Whip or Dartbow can be incredibly rewarding since they are in very high demand from the PKs who use them. Deadman mode isn't all about training though. Questing is also crucial in unlocking weapons, armor and escape routes for sheer survival, and as mentioned previously, they're fundamental when strategizing. If questing isn't your cup of tea, a week into the season some essential quest unlocks will be available to everybody, such as Monkey Madness for the iconic Dragon Scimitar. 2 weeks in, Desert Treasure is the most anticipated release as it gives access to the dominant Ancient Magic spellbook. And if you missed the release of the server and don't feel like catching up, after 1 week, 6 hours of immunity is introduced for all new accounts created, with a further experience multiplier of 2 times, which combines with the existing multiplier. It allows players to catch up and still compete. After building your account for survival and gearing up for combat, you may find yourself in a position to kill other players.
Oh my god. The content. The content. Zenite Shard.
If you initiate combat, you are granted with a PK skull above your head. Whilst this skull remains active, PKs are unable to enter safe zones and therefore must find other areas to resupply and must wait till the skull has disappeared before re-entering the safe zones. There's also a 7-second teleport timer for skull players. Instant teleport when unskulled is possible, however whilst in combat, teleporting is not permitted, although the use of ladders is a common used strategy. As previously mentioned, if you kill your opponent, you'll be rewarded with that player's bank key, which grants you access to their 10 most valuable item stacks. Also, you'll get 60 seconds of immunity if you kill another player, so other players can't get on you whilst you're looting your stuff. The protect item is not usable in Deadman mode, and killing another player grants you everything that they carry too. You can hold up to 5 keys at one time, but every time you attack someone, your skull gets reset, and each key you manage to obtain takes up 1 vital inventory space that is otherwise essential to your survival. There are restrictions, however, to help lower levels and inexperienced players. If you decide to bully a lower leveled player below 30 combats of you, you'll be penalised with a skull that lasts twice as long, 30 minutes rather than 15. If you're unskulled and you try to snipe a player killer who is on low supplies, you will also be granted a skull but only lasts 5 minutes. Losing your monetary wealth from both your bank and what you hold isn't the only downside to dying skulled. Although you can protect up to 2 combat skills and 3 non-combat skills, the rest of your experience will be lost by a considerable amount. This harsh mechanic means every decision in Deadman mode carries a sense of high risk for high reward. If you do lose any really important bank stacks, you will keep 20% of them, and upon losing experience if you are to die skulled, and again heightened experience boost to get your levels back will help you with the rebuild. Making use of the safety deposit box is also recommended, since you can store up to 10 items that will not be included in your bank key. However, this separate bank is only found within the safe areas. PvP in Deadman mode is both a game of skill as much as it is wit.
Fair play, man. Good fight, dude.
Anything goes in what is considered as no honor PKing, which includes the use of overhead prayers, multi-way combat areas, and often players calling for backup from their respective team or friends. And this is where the PJ timer is extremely beneficial for solo players, as it doesn't allow player jumping. Since the first iteration of Deadman mode, the server has changed drastically to allow solo players to prosper and for more people to engage with the high adrenaline fueled PKing, which is so iconic within Deadman mode.
Welcome to Camelot. 25, oh my god! Instantly down, mate!
Although the original World 45 still has every piece of content, there are some limitations on the seasonal server to keep it balanced. Barrows is accessible, however the Barrows armors and weapons are prohibited due to the huge advantage they give over basic gear. One of the aims with the seasonals is to ensure everyone can take part and stand a fair chance. Other content locks include Zora, due to the venom and its overly generous loot table, while both lava dragons and the wilderness revenants are found in multi-combat areas and therefore were removed to prevent clans from propelling themselves even further ahead of the competition. There are other economical changes that have been made to ensure the integrity of the economy stays intact. For example, the removal of the nature rune chests and no thieving loot in safe zones. Since the season is only temporary, it is used as a selection process for the Deadman mode finals held 2 months later. The top 2,000 players on the high scores are invited to compete in another temporary server which lasts only 1 week, where they must again use their knowledge and skill to grind towards the final hour. This jaw-dropping intense finale can be witnessed live on Twitch, where the top contenders fight it out for a chance at tens of thousands of dollars worth of prizes. Throughout this week, unlike the seasonal, there are no experience caps, and other content locks such as barrows are reintroduced as one of the best in slot gears.
As we jump into the final 4, let's do this. Mika versus Goofy, which could mean that Mika and Manx might make it into the final together.
As a result, most players commit religiously to their progress to ensure they stand the best possible chance as the entire server is forced into final areas simultaneously, known as the perma-death stage. Supply chests will also spawn as players are forced into the final areas to avoid the deadly fog. These chests contain extremely powerful rewards such as the Inferno Cape and Dragon Claws, which are particularly effective in the final stage of the tournament. The last 128 players that still remain standing in the permadeath stage are then teleported into a series of 1v1 matches. As players dwindle, after each fight they are restocked with equal supplies of food and potions. The only difference between players is in the gear and stats they have obtained throughout the week, as well as the skills they have mastered in Deadman mode PvP from the previous seasons. Now that it's been over 2 years since the initial release, the competition is fiercer than ever, and the spectacle that is the Deadman finals should not be missed. For more information of when the Deadman finals and seasonals run, check out the Old School Runescape website and the Deadman mode section, which will further provide understanding on the game mode as well as dates. If you're interested in playing and watching on YouTube, make sure to check the links in the description to get started right away. And if you're not interested in playing, there is plenty of content going to be streamed over on Twitch and videos to watch on YouTube. Also, don't forget to set a reminder you do not want to miss the Deadman finals.
Come back for this right now. He's going to catch a freeze and step underneath. He's got the Prey Major. He's doing very, very well of anticipating every switch that Pat is throwing at him right now, getting the bright prayers up. Oh, the Retribution! The skill right there.
The poison coming in there, that could be the end. The blood barrage, the zero.
He's catching every single prayer pretty much, dude. He's doing